The plight of children in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, previously documented, has regrettably been omitted without justification. Generations of Kashmiri children have been condemned to a life of fear, violence, and repression under foreign occupation. The plight has in fact worsened after India's illegal and unilateral measures of 5th August 2019. The Secretary General's previous reports rightly urged India to implement measures including the prohibition of the use of lethal and non-lethal force on children, ending the use of pellet guns, and preventing all forms of ill treatment of children in detention and protection of children from sexual offenses. We strongly urge continued reporting on the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, where human rights violations against children are tragically routine and continuing. In the recent Indian unprovoked and unlawful aggression in May this year against Pakistan, civilian areas were deliberately targeted, resulting in the martyrdom of 15 children. These acts of aggression were carried out in blatant contravention of the UN Charter and international humanitarian law. Pakistan calls for a thorough investigation of these grave violations against children and their inclusion in the forthcoming CAC report. Madam President, we reaffirm our strong support for the SRSG's mandate, which must remain firmly focused on actual situations where grave violations and atrocities occur with impunity. This is vital for ensuring the integrity and credibility of the Children in Armed Conflict mechanism. We welcome the Secretary General's decision to remove references to Pakistan as a so-called situation of concern, a long overdue correction of an earlier unjustified reflection.
In this context, I am constrained to respond to the politically motivated remarks made by the delegate of Pakistan, one of the grave violators of the CAC agenda. Pakistan is casting unwarranted aspersions over UN processes and also smearing India at various discussions to pursue their nefarious agenda. We reject this attempt by Pakistan to deflect attention from the atrocities committed against children in their country, as highlighted in the Secretary General's report, as well as their rampant cross-border terrorism. The world has not forgotten the savage targeted attacks by Pakistani and Pakistani-trained terrorists, killing 26 tourists in India and Pahalgam, Jammu and Kashmir on the 22nd of April 2025. The Security Council had issued a press statement on 25th April, which underlined the need to hold perpetrators, organizers, financiers, and sponsors of this reprehensible act accountable and bring them to justice. India had undertaken non-escalatory, proportionate, and focused attacks that targeted 9 terrorist infrastructure sites on the 7th of May 2025 in response through Operation Sindoor. The terrorists killed in these attacks were given state funerals by Pakistan, and yet they try to preach to others. The Secretary General's report on CAC provides details of serious violations against children in armed conflict in Pakistan. The Secretary General has expressed concern at the rise in such grave violations reported, including attacks against schools, particularly girls' schools, against health workers, and about the incidents in the border areas with Afghanistan, where a series of killing and maiming of Afghan children was directly attributed to cross-border shelling and airstrikes by Pakistani armed forces. The Pakistani army also deliberately shelled our border villages in May 2025, killing and injuring a number of civilians. To preach at this body after such behavior is grossly hypocritical. In conclusion, I would like to highlight that the entire Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir has been, is, and will always be an integral and inalienable part of India, irrespective of the frequent incessant spate of lies and falsehoods by Pakistan. Thank you, Madam President.